Welcome back to another stock market portfolio update video, and it's going to be an interesting one because we have, well, from my other previous portfolio videos, I think the highest I ever reported on my YouTube channel was a total of 93,000, something along those lines, around that. And obviously by the thumbnail you've seen it's nearly 92,000, which is insane really. We're going to get into it and let's have a look at this, because I think this will be very important to see how much I've been buying while we've been in a downturn, and also the video I made as well reporting on the VIX, because we also spoke about how the VIX, when it's above 50, then it's normally a good time to buy, and we ended up getting in, well, I ended up buying some at the 50 mark when the VIX was at 50. And it's so far done well. If you do want a free fractional share worth up to £100 on Trading212, then click the link in the description or use my code BEN on Trading212 and you'll get a free fractional share worth up to £100. So now, as you can see, the VIX is now closed, the lowest since Liberation Day, which shows how high the VIX was previously, and also now we're at that point where it's starting to calm down a bit. So as you can tell as well by looking at the screenshot of my video of when I did have 93,000 in investments. By the way, I know it says 99,000, but 93,000 in investments. As you can tell here, net deposits, it was £38,391. So that's how much I put and invested into the stock market at that point. And now, well, you'll see at the end of the video, and we'll come back to this later at the end of the video, but you'll see how much more I've been buying in these dips. Another thing is here, look at the earnings that we've got coming up. We've got SoFi, which is on the Tuesday morning, so before the open, which will be very, very exciting because, as you guys know, SoFi is pretty much my biggest holding apart from Palantir. I've put a lot of money into SoFi. And we've also got Fubo at the end of the week on the Friday before open. And obviously we've got the big earnings like Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple. And these will be an interesting one as well, just to have a look at seeing how many people are buying and the transaction rates and all that good stuff. But yeah, we've got a massive earnings week and I'm looking forward to it. Right, AMD, 120 shares of AMD. This is now one that I will be loading up. We are down 12.8% and our average is $105, and obviously, like you guys know, I really like AMD. I think it's got a strong potential in the future with obviously all these AI chips, and I think because the thing is with Nvidia, they're not going to be able to keep up with the demand, and they've even said they can't keep up with the demand. So I do believe AMD will get a bit of the share and a bit of the pie, nowhere near as large as what Nvidia have, but they're still, even if AMD can get a slight pie of Nvidia, there's just a lot of growth there for AMD to go with. So AMD is another one that I do really like, and the forward PE is about 20, 22, so it is a very good price in my opinion to get in, and that's why I've been buying up in AMD, not Nvidia, AMD. And yeah, I'm going to be buying up more now that I've also hit a target of mine for SoFi. So AMD is going to be one that I'm going to be looking at, and the data center revenues are looking strong for AMD, like I've said previously. And I'll be interested to see if their gaming sector can get a bit better now, because they have absolutely done shockingly bad over the years, and I think this could be a bit of a turning point now. Surely it can't get any worse than that, and that's what's been killing AMD a little bit as well. If they can get that going, that'll be a really good sign to see. But AMD is one that I would like to be buying up more of. Another thing to point out as well that I think people just really don't understand or realize is AMD gets used by pretty much most of the Mag 7 apart from Nvidia and Apple. I think apart from those, every single company in the Mag 7 uses AMD and the chips. So that's something you've got to bear in mind, and I don't see why they would slow down on spending with AMD. So AMD, like I say, I just think there's a lot of growth there, and we'll see. We'll have to see if I'm right or not in a few years' time. Fubo, so this is one that's obviously coming up with earnings on the Friday, and this has been hit really hard in the last 3 months. It's down 24%, and we're up 95% on this. I haven't been buying Fubo because obviously it's a bit of a speculative play, but they're turning profitable, hopefully end of the year, beginning of next year. they became free cash flow positive, which is really, really, really good in the last quarter, and hopefully that can carry on. And also, once their earnings per share becomes positive and they're not losing, then that'll be great to see, because obviously that's when I've in the past anyway, especially with Palantir, when they flip profitability, SoFi flip profitability, and they had an increase in share price. Like SoFi was sitting at $7, and it's obviously it went up to $17, $18 at one point. Palantir's done what it's done, and yeah, I believe that Fubo could have a nice growth story in that sense. And obviously the Disney merger thing, that wasn't even in my mind beforehand when I was getting into Fubo, so that'll be an absolute cherry on top if they get that Disney acquisition, but we'll have to see. So this is the earnings for Fubo expectations. These are the expectations for it. And analysts project a loss of 8 cents per share, an improvement from 11 cents loss in Q1 2024, which will be really, really good if they can do that, and hopefully they can beat it. And then Fubo's TV's guidance anticipates North American revenue between 400 million and 410 million. However, some analysts estimate revenue around 436 million. So let's see if they can hit those numbers, get to those numbers, if not beat it. And yeah, we'll see with that. It'll be interesting to see this subscriber, to see if they have grown or if it's declined or if it's the same. That's something I am looking out for, because obviously that's not good if they're declining with the subscribers, but we'll have to see. Like I say, this is a speculative play. Like, if this was a great, if I really did think it's going to completely flip profitability and it's going to do absolutely well, obviously I'll be having a lot more money in this, but because not everything's certain and there's things to this that could go wrong, I'm not. So it's more of a smaller play for me, smaller position. Hence why I've got 1,100 shares of it. It's not like I've got loads. But going back to obviously the Disney acquisition, obviously if that goes through as well though, like that changes the game a lot. Like the subscriber growth will be mental, be crazy. They'll have a lot more subscribers, and that's when it will start becoming a real proper business. But maybe Fubo can do it on their own anyway. We'll have to see. But obviously subscriber growth has been not great. All right, Grab. So Grab is the next one, 1,550 shares. And this is another one that I will be starting to build a bigger position. I've obviously got a position, but I will start building a bigger position. The only reason why I haven't been buying a lot recently is because I can't buy everything. Like, I've been really focusing on SoFi and building a big position in SoFi, and then I'll start going into my other stocks and buying. But Grab, like I say, really do like Grab. They've got a lot in cash, and 1 in 2 tourists that go into Southeast Asia uses the Grab app in some sort of way, either taxi ride, food delivery, the financial services. So that's a really good stat, and that's another thing that I've actually not mentioned in YouTube before, and I kind of had a thought about this, is like when I was going to go out to Bali or go out to these places in the summer or in the future, is I was thinking like the amount of people that say like Thailand and all these different countries around that Southeast Asia area, like there's so many people from the UK just going there or even living out there, and the economy will be getting better in that sense. And you know what we'll be doing when you go there, we'll be using the Grab app, because we'll see it as a very cheap alternative and nowhere near as expensive as like getting an Uber Eats or something where we are. Like, it's all a lot cheaper out there, and I think that's going to really boost that economy in that sense. And also just the amount of usage on the app, like amount of people from the UK, America, anywhere in the world that have got a bit more money will be using that app out there. And even the locals use it anyway, but just regardless, for the tourism side, like we'll be using it because it's just ease. So that's another thing that I'm kind of betting on in a sense with Grab, is that tourism's just going to get even more, like it's just more people are going to go to these type of places, and obviously the more spend will be happening on these apps in that sense. But yeah, I've got an average of $4.88 with this, and it's been hovering around the $4 to $5 range for a long time, and it probably will do until we start seeing some proper growth with Grab. Nike, obviously I just hold a little shares just to see what would have happened if I bought in properly, and I would have been down 21%, but I would have actually not been. I would have been down about 7-8% probably, because I would have been averaging in if I was to have this as a serious position. Obviously Nike is a bit of it's the timing of it before the tariff situation. The tariffs have really hit Nike. If the tariffs actually properly happen and go through, that'll seriously hurt Nike, to be honest with you. So yeah, so obviously I didn't see that coming beforehand with the tariff situation, but I think regardless anyway, future, I think Nike will look back at these prices and be like, wow, what a cheap stock Nike was. Palantir, 20% in a week. Like what? Like Palantir, like I'm scratching my head. Like, I literally don't understand how I like the Palantir, like it's just mental. It's mind blowing. Like obviously I really believe in the company and I love it and I think it's great and it's got so much potential and the TAM is incredible. Like Palantir's got a lot of things going for it in the future, but God, it's getting priced in like insane amounts. So yeah, I'm impressed, to be honest with you, that it held the $70 range when we were in that crash correction, whatever you want to call it, which is really, really, really bullish for me. Like that's insane. And earnings are coming up 5th of May, around there, I believe. Don't quote me on the exact date, but around there. So very, very soon. And it's going to have to smash earnings. It's going to have to do very well. Otherwise, we will see this go down. And yeah, we'll have to see. But regardless, like people say all the time to me, why aren't you selling it? Because it's literally, this is one of the only stocks that I'm holding for decades, literally decades. It's going to be a long term hold that I just forget about, which I can't because I literally show this on YouTube all the time, so I can't. But at least I get to show the journey and you guys get to watch the journey of it. It could crumble down, it could go up, but I know long term it's going to do me an absolute solid because of what the company is. So yeah, Palantir, it's smashing earnings, but the PEs are very, very high, and I think the forward PE is about 200 now on Palantir. SoFi, so this has got earnings Tuesday, which I literally can't wait for. I think it's going to smash earnings, to be honest with you. I think it's absolutely going to smash it, and member growth is going to be crazy good, and the financial services, everything's going to do really, really well with SoFi. Everything's looking really good from what I've been seeing on Twitter and the behind the scenes, and also some leaks that have been happening with SoFi. So I think SoFi is going to do really, really well. And the loan business platform looks really good, like really, really good. So analysts anticipate an EPS of 3 cents, representing a 50% increase year over year. Revenue projected $739 million, up 27% from $581 million in Q1 2024, which I do think they're going to beat those numbers, but we'll have to see. So full year 2025 guidance is another thing we've got to be careful and see what they say. They're going to probably sandbag it, so I'm not really my expectations are not massively high with the guidance because they always sandbag it. When I mean sandbag it, is like give expectations really, really low pretty much. Expected between 3.2 billion and 3.275 billion, indicating a 23 to 26% growth. Net revenue, adjusted EBITDA forecasted between 845 million and 865 million with an incremental EBITDA margin of 30%. Adjusted GAAP net income projected between 285 million and 305 million, translate into an EPS of 25 cents to 27 cents. So let's have a look at my graphs quick. So they're guiding 27 cents for EPS, and I'm actually guiding for the fact that they're going to do 32 cents for EPS for the year for 2025. Which would put it to a $10 to $13 stock, which, yes, people are like, what the hell, that's not even great price. But this is, bear in mind, bear case. And also, this is going off a PE of 1340, which if they're growing crazy and showing really, really good growth, the PE would probably command a bit of a higher PE ratio. But if you go off the 20, and this is the thing, I'm buying not for a quick flip for a few months. I'm buying now for 2026, 2027, 2028. And obviously this is bear case 2028, and you're looking at a share price of between $28 and $38 for a bear case. Like, if you look at my bull case, it's a lot higher than that, but I'm not going to show that because I don't want to really show, like, I just want people's, and I want my expectations to be really low with SoFi, and I do think I really am confident they're gonna beat the guidance that they've said with 27 cents, like they always have throughout the quarters. And yeah, so that's why I've put it at 32 cents. So Tesla is the next one, and we've got 39 shares of this, up 26%, and this is just been the earnings were really, really bad. They were really, really, really bad, and people are literally now, you can tell now, they're buying in the fact that Elon is taking a bit of a step back with Doge and going to be coming back to Tesla, and that's what people are pricing in really, and also the future of Tesla, because otherwise the earnings were shocking. So yeah, up 26% on Tesla. So in total, I've got £90,915 in my investments. And if you go off my net deposits, I got 45,000. So I've put in £45,841. And if you go off the screenshot that I had before, £38,391 I deposited. So just like £7,500 roughly I have deposited since then. So yeah, it's a bit mad. I've put in quite a bit of money in these dips. So hopefully we'll start seeing, well, we are now, we're already seeing like massive growth in the portfolio, and I'm up nearly 17% in the week. That's how crazy this week's been. If you did enjoy this video, hit this thumbs up button, subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you in the next portfolio update video.